Yo, what's good? Welcome to another episode of Walt Equal Jewel. I'll be your host today on this journey. SAB, SAB, the powerologist. And what is Walt equal Joule? In physics, power is the amount of energy transferred or converted per unit time. In the international system of units, the unit of power is the watt, equal to 1 joule per second. On this episode, we're going to talk about the new top gang in the streets right now on the final season of Power But 2 Ghosts, Detective Carter's Task Force. On episode 5, the Task Force true intentions were brought to light when they jump in on Monet, Drew, and the Tate goons when they were stealing Noma's shipment of product. Carter lets them know he's not going to lock them up, and as far as the NYPD concerns, they were never here, and they can leave with the stolen shipment. As far as drugs, there's always going to be a demand, so there's always going to be a supply, which is simple economics. His rules are: 1. Civilians should never be hurt in the process. 2. You can kill all the criminals you want. 3. The punishment for killing any innocent civilian is prison or death. 4. The task force will decide who gets to operate in the city. 5. The task force gets 35% of the profits. Before leaving, Carter recognizes one of the Tate goons as someone they have been looking for about 2 years for the death of an 18-year-old kid who was shot at the subway. Darian James, who was a few days away from starting college. Carter killed the goon right in front of Monet and Drew, laying down the law. Drew later brings up, what if they reported Carter and his task force? They let them know Detective Carter is New York City's favorite, most decorated officer. His word will always be above theirs. With the task force being law enforcement, operating like this gives them the upper hand and so much power over all the gangs and criminal organizations in New York City. You can't just move in on them that easily without suffering the repercussions. If you do, it has to be very strategic. The birth of the gang starts with Detective Carter and the death of his wife, Denise Carter, who was an innocent bystander who was killed due to gang violence. That motivated him to start an elite drug task force. Episode 5 also showed us how the death of Denise Carter has emotionally affected Detective Carter. He is still grieving the death of his wife. We see him getting ready for work, talking out loud as if Denise is in the house with him on a normal day of getting ready for work when she was alive and they were together. He's looking down the hall like she's in the bedroom, smiling while he's telling her he may be a little late tonight due to work. Instead of being able to physically kiss Denise on his way out the door, he shows that love towards her picture on the wall by the front of his house. Carter has now been given more motivation when Paz tells him she feels like the death of her son, Agent Carter, was due to Tariq St. Patrick and not what has been reported, which has led the task force to Tariq and the Tahadas. Once the task force can confirm Tariq is the true killer of Agent Carter, that would be prison or death for Tariq. One main person the task force should watch out for is Detective Tate. He is on the same mission to lock up Tariq, but he is not out to kill Tariq. He is not with having control on how drugs are being moved throughout New York City and making a profit off it. I do feel like if Detective Tate does find out the true intentions of the task force and they find out he knows, it will lead to the death of Detective Tate. For now, they have been leading him off track, like when Carter put him in his place on episode 4 when Tate wanted to talk to Zion. Carter made him go talk to Tariq and told him that he would have someone from the task force to go talk to Zion, but we never seen Carter send anyone out or anyone from the task force talking to Zion, which might mean the task force already knows about Zion and he is one of the organizations they are allowing to operate under their rules. Also, the task force did not have Tate out with them when they ran up on Monet and Drew when they were still in Noma's shipment. So only having him at certain meetups that focus on locking up Tariq and the Tejadas will keep him out the loop of what is really going on. Now, in the world of power, the task force are the villains or the antagonists of the main character or protagonist, Tariq St. Patrick. But in the real world, if there was an elite police task force moving like this, would we really consider them as villains or bad people? This had me thinking of two anti-hero characters from the comic book world, DC's Red Hood and Marvel's The Punisher. The Red Hood was Batman's second Robin, Jason Todd, who was killed by the Joker, then later was brought back to life. When he came back to the streets as the Red Hood, which used to be an alias for the Joker before he became the Joker. Jason Todd, Red Hood, had control of various gangs in Gotham City, and his way of cleansing the city of corruption is violent by killing criminals, villains, and anyone in his movement's way, including the police. His emotional issue and motivation was that Batman failed him. Batman doesn't kill the Joker to revenge his death. Instead, helps the police lock up the Joker, where the Joker ends up escaping and is back in the streets anyway. Batman's code was that he didn't kill the criminals and villains that he stops. Marvel's The Punisher, Frank Castle, is a discharged Navy Marine whose family was killed by the mob right in front of him when they stumbled on a mafia deal that went wrong. The mob didn't want to leave any witnesses, so they killed the whole family, but the Punisher had survived. The police investigation was infiltrated by the same mob, which motivated him to seek revenge for his family and any criminal who has done something wrong. The Punisher only killed criminals or villains. He never killed anyone from law enforcement, the army, or Marines, even if they were in his way, unless they have become a criminal or villain. So how does Tariq and the Tejadas stop the task force? Part of the synopsis for episode 8, titled Higher Calling, reads, Tariq and Monet tried to leverage a way to get out from under Carter. I'm predicting they make their first move on the task force in episode 8. They are going to get something or gain some information from or about the task force in episode 7, titled I Can't Fix This. Part of the synopsis for episode 7 reads, Drew must take out a threat to Carter's organization in order to protect his family. The task force sends Drew to take care of somebody. I'm guessing this is why we see Drew wearing a jail prison jumpsuit. The person he needs to take care of is locked up. While on this mission, Drew finds something or gather some type of information that they will be able to use as leverage against Carter and the task force. I'm guessing whatever it is something or someone who is very close to Detective Carter, like private information about him or his family that he doesn't want leaked out, or a family member that can be used as bait or a threat. Thanks for watching another video of Walt equals Jewel. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you like and share. If you enjoyed the channel, make sure you subscribe. In the comments, leave your opinion on the task force. Are they the villains or anti-heroes? Also, is the task force really a threat to Tariq and the Tejadas? And what are your predictions on how Tariq and the Tejadas will stop task force? I'm your host, Sab, SAB, the Powerologist, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. Easy.